Hello there, World of Tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, the Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, I will be comparing the Russian tech tree medium 62A versus the Object 140. Now, both of these mediums are researchable from one tier 9, being the T-54. And that tier 9 is researchable by the 54 lightweight, which can also branch off into the Object 84 and the T-100LT. A single T-54 lightweight can get 3 vehicles unlocked. There's not a single other line in the game that even gets 2 vehicles unlocked. We can look at Germany. You can see there's no branching here. We go over to Russia. Well, obviously, we've got the medium, but apart from that, you can't do that with any of the heavies. Go over to Britain. Nope. Go over to Japan. Nope. China. Nope. It's actually pretty unique how the Russian line works. If you're a newer player, I would highly suggest to grind down to get the 54 lightweight, and then you've got yourself 3 options. I wouldn't start off with the T-100LT or the Object 140. I definitely suggest to go for this vehicle, the 62A first, because it's the most well-rounded of the 3. But once you start to get your bearings with the 62A, maybe grind the T-100LT, and then go for the Object 140. Either way, hopefully this video is going to serve a good guide to both of these tanks' playstyles. Now, I gotta say, I just have to say it because it's kind of sad. Look at the difference between this tank and this tank. It is night and day. This tank, the 62A without PBR, looks so much worse than the 140. Wargaming, please just make it so every tier 10 in the game has PBR, and then I will be happy, and I won't complain for like 2 days until you mess up something else. But seriously, I really do wish Wargaming would just give all the mediums and every tank in general PBR, because they can. They're just drip feeding it like GTA content. So, kind of unfortunate there. Either way, with that aside, let's actually get into the 62A first. Talk about its strengths, talk about its weaknesses, and then we'll also get into the Object 140. Now, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I like the Object 140 more than the T-62A. Do I think it's a better tank than the T-62A? No. I think for most players, the 62A is, as I said earlier, the most well-rounded. It got nerfed on its dispersion in update 9.1. Went from 0.272, being the same as a Leopard 1, to now sitting at 0.317, making it one of the least accurate mediums. But at the same time, it went up in top speed and power to weight, and now has a power to weight of like 20-something, and its top speed is 55. I actually like that change, because nowadays, I would rather be able to escape a very deadly situation, especially when my team kind of ditches me, than, you know, have a more accurate gun. Sure, accuracy is amazing, but I personally don't believe that Russian mediums should be accurate. I feel like they're supposed to be these well-armored vehicles, especially in the turrets. As we know, the Russians usually design rounded turrets compared to the Americans that are more boxy. But I usually think of the Russians as these well-rounded turreted designs with just a gun that goes blah, 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 blah. And sometimes the shells hit and sometimes they don't. That's how these vehicles are on PC. And I'm actually kind of happy that Wargaming toned down the accuracy on this vehicle to make it a bit more on its Russian roots of playstyle. So, as you can see, we have an E100 in front of us, and I've put on my adrenaline and perma-tracked this guy. And if you'll notice, in the spot that he has been tracked, he cannot aim down on me because he's stuck on elevation where he does not have the gun depression to shoot me. Bro, that's about the worst spot you could have gotten yourself tracked. Yeah. Oh, man, that just really is a stinker for you, isn't it? By the way, I should point out that I'm running Cali. I'm not even running gun rammer here. I'm actually happy I'm running Cali, because I probably would not have had the pen to cut through the E100 track wheel at that angle if I was running rammer. But I'm not sure. Either way, to me, I still think that Cali is the way to go. I tried out rammer for about a month, and I wasn't doing bad at all. But I just think that Cali is better than rammer because you can get shots off like that confidently, not only tracking your opponents, but penning the shots as well. And if you ever do get into a situation where you need that higher heat pen to cut through a tier 10 heavy, I just feel like it's better on a vehicle like the 62A to have that extra pen when shooting at maybe an IS-4 upper plate, or even looking on an E100 turret, than not being able to pen them at all. So at this point, I should point out that we are at 3,800 damage, and we're using that good mobility, once again, that increased power to weight, to push very quickly towards the enemy team. We have that advantage now to be able to do that, and because I still got that great same DPM, in this situation here, sure, my dispersion might be nerfed, but does it really matter? I mean, I just got 2 fires in a row on that IS-4. We're up to 5,000 damage dealt. Nice slap into his turret. And now we're going to go over towards this 2 and 5B. Pretty good player. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter how good you are as a player. If your team falls apart, there's not much you're going to be able to do about it. So at this point, we get a nice shell to the side of the Object 263. 5,585 damage dealt. We're going to overmatch his engine deck. 5,900. Come on, come on, come on. Reload, reload. Yes, there you go. That's all I wanted. We broke the 6,000 damage barrier. And this was really just about the best example I could showcase for the 62A and its new playstyle after update 9.1. It's more mobile, and to me, I think that actually makes it better because sure, you don't have that accuracy, but you have the ability to play more aggressive. You have the ability to get away from situations you've put yourself in. So this was a really good battle. Assisted 2,000. That means we did almost 8,000 combined, which is just ridiculous when you think about it. Plus, we got a mastery out. So just a fantastic battle. Now, the reason I personally like the Object 140 over the 62A is because the 62A is just a boring tank for my personal playstyle. It doesn't have great alpha. Now sure, the Object 140 has the same alpha. But to me, the 62A also still doesn't have amazing mobility. It still doesn't have amazing gun depression or penetration or anything that other mediums can't replicate. Like, why drive a 62A when I can drive a T-22 medium and get that armor plus the accuracy and everything else? Or, you know, a 907. I just personally don't see the reason to drive a 62A, especially when there's other vehicles that I enjoy more, like the E50M and the 121B. 121B, in my opinion, is just a 62A with more alpha and basically the same DPM. Now, when it comes to the 140, what is the difference between the 140 and the 62A? Well, a couple. The first one is the turret armor. If we make our way over to the enemy Object 140, this is what my standard ammo looks like on the 140's turret. Look at how weak that turret is. I mean, basically at any angle, the whole thing is gray. And by the way, that's again with standard ammo. If I were to load premium, this entire bit of red here, gone. That is a huge disadvantage for the 140 over the 62A. It is such a weak armor profile on that turret. Now, weirdly enough, the hull armor on the 140 did not get changed in 9.1. So the actual upper plate on this vehicle is still very strong, super good at getting auto ricochets, and the side armor on the Object 140, if I do another quick pause here, if you take a look, you can see there's this little slit, like that kind of angles inward on the vehicle. You can see it right about there. That slit is actual effective armor. And if you angle the 140, just by sheer luck 90% of the time, at the perfect angle against enemies that shoot at that exact spot, you will get bounces, specifically auto ricochet bounces. I have fired at the Object 140 in my E4, I remember, on Normandy. It was like a little meme video I made, and I literally bounced the flat side of a 140 because I hit that angle. So it is very, very good at the aspect it can do. Now, here we have Positive. He's a pretty good player. He's got his pro camo. Unfortunately, I just don't think he realized how quick the reload is on this vehicle. While the 2 and 5B, even with rammer, has really good DPM, I've got 90 less alpha than that tank, and I've got more DPM even with Callion, so yeah, I was obviously going to out-reload the 2 and 5B, and that's exactly what we did. So at this point, I see, oh boy, 2 and 5B, free chunk of damage. I've got 2 teammates behind me, so I'm going to go for this 2 and 5B. Here we go. Nice shell into his rear. Unfortunately, a really low rolled at only 247, and oh boy, I got high rolled there. Come on, get another nice shell in. Now, at this moment, I was thinking, why is this guy not bled more? I have 3 teammates here, or 2. Well, it turns out that my Object 260 is busy looking off to the side instead of supporting me. Don't you love how even when you're literally giving your teammates free shots, they ignore you? Still not looking over here, I should point out. That 260 didn't once look over here to help me out. What an awful teammate. Players like that are the reason why I do get frustrated at this game sometimes, because that guy could have very easily helped me, but instead he's busy bouncing the enemy Object 260 in the side. Big, big Sag. Either way, I was able to do the job myself. We're already up to 3,000 damage at this point, and we're doing pretty good. Now, as we were talking about before, what are the advantages and disadvantages of the 62A and 140? This tank has much more mobility than the 62A. It goes 60 kilometers per hour, which is really fast. And also, as you'll notice here, it's got much better dispersion and accuracy than the 62A. So I can actually connect shells into this enemy object 26A version 4 over and over and over. We've already penetrated 2 into his vehicle, and he fired at me. And now we're going to wait for him to make a mistake again. He's going to over-angle the side, and boom, another 292 hit points. The V4 is a very strong vehicle, as long as you're directly frontal facing. Unfortunately for that V4, that's not the case. Now, what I've noticed right now is that the enemy team is gonna kill me. So I will repay the favor to my Object 260 and let him die alone, because he basically brought me down to how much HP I have currently, so why not let him die? Bye-bye! There you go. And with that, it's also perfect, because I get a nice shell into the enemy M60. So we made the M60 a one-shot, but the problem is the Bat Chat, oh boy, that is a healthy Bat Chat. Now my T100 LT is chasing him, which is perfect. The LT gets one shot in. I'm going to get a second shot in. You can see I was trying to track him while also penning. Unfortunately, we didn't get the pen, or not the pen, the track, but this Bat Chat actually plays this a bit poob. It just kind of kills himself. I think the Bat Chat would have had a much higher chance of winning if he had YOLO'd me, because they would have been much higher up on base cap. Because look at their base cap, they're really high up. Now I need to clear this M60, and I haven't been spotted. That M60 took a blind shot at me. Looks like he bounced off my upper plate, so he doesn't know where I am, but I know where he is. So we get a nice shot into his turret, and there you go. We dealt 4,974 damage and turned an extremely painful and close game into a victory. So here we go. Let's aim in on this 260 and fire. There you go. Bit of a low roll, but who cares? I broke 5,000 damage as it is, and showcased why the Object 140, even with its changes and its less armor and everything, is still a really good vehicle. I think both are great tanks, and I think that if you're a good player, you'll do good in either. I was actually really surprised this wasn't a mastery, by the way. Maybe because I didn't cap any bases or anything like that, but either way, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. As I said, I like the 140 more. I think it's a bit more of an exciting vehicle. Which one do I think is better? I think the 62A is better for the average player, but if you understand how to play this game, you might be able to squeeze a bit more out in the 140. Either way, both of the tanks did pretty well. As you can see, statistically for the 140 today, I played 3 battles and it went 3,700 damage. I lost one of them, so not bad at all. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!